We're on FilmsGoneWild.com. You're hearing the voice of John Wildman, the editor-in-chief of Films Gone Wild. I'm not on camera because we've got a tandem that we're going to talk to today. A couple, a little bit different, but very inventive works on a documentary type format. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sandro Romany. I am the co-director of In Exchange for Flesh alongside choreographer, who's our other co-director.
Hi, my name is Lauren Rains. I am the director of ENNEAGRAM and Movement.
And my name is Haley Davis, and I am the subject for ENNEAGRAM and Movement.
Okay, our audiences likely have not seen either of these films as yet, so we're going to introduce them. Let's start with ENNEAGRAM.
So ENNEAGRAM and Movement is actually a television series, and our pilot is The Achiever. It is a character-driven docuseries that follows 9 different dancers that are each one of the Enneagram personality framework types.
In Exchange for Flesh is an investigation into invasive strip searches happening in New York State prisons, and it was made in partnership with a man who is currently incarcerated. We brought cameras inside New York State prisons to essentially take testimony out from the incarcerated population.
What I loved about pairing these two is because in an odd way they're both about trust in a certain manner. Let's start Sam, with yours. One, being allowed in, not just to the prison, but into this guy's life. That's a lot of trust placed in you as a filmmaker and your co-directing partner. Talk about, and I love talking to documentarians about that, about how they handle the responsibility, with this. And so talk about it from your point.
Sure, yeah, there's, I think just the project carries a lot of risk for our incarcerated subjects who appeared on camera, and Corey both appeared on camera and co-directed it, right? So he carried a lot of risk in participating in the project, just purely from the sake of retaliation from guards, from the administration. He did it though because he believes in the project, believes in the message, and believes that the policy needs to be changed. He thinks it's a constitutional violation and it's affecting millions of Americans behind closed doors. So that was the belief. And in terms of trust, Corey and I have been working together for 3 years on various projects, and we've really built a partnership, a creative partnership. A lot of the work happens in person. We go up there, we meet, we brainstorm. Everything else is, surveilled, whether it's over email or calls. So that's probably too risky to do like the hard work. But that's really where the trust has been built, in those in-person meetings, which last like 7 hours in upstate New York, and we're now kind of friends. So.
All right.
Cool.
And let's talk about Enneagram now. And I'll start with Enneagram to let you know that I love this because I was a dancer. When I was younger, and so of course I was like immediately drawn to this and go, this is awesome. But when you talk about trust here, especially as a dancer, we're constantly just trying to be perfect. Perfection is the most notorious thing for us, which is fascinating that it's being used in this series. Because it dovetails so nicely and butts head against it so nicely. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk to our subject first. Please. About how you were, how you handle this, because camera's on you, you're dancing, and it's like, I don't know if I scored that move the way that I wanted to. Can we do it again? And you're going, well, that's not really the point, right?
Yes.
So talk about that.
I think that exactly is what made this so special. Is I really had to sort of drop down all of my walls and sort of like unzip myself and allow the world and Lauren and our DP to come inside and me tell them what was happening internally. And as dancers, yes, we are striving to be the best at all times. So it was difficult to want to be that when we were shooting the dance scenes, but then in our interviews, really have to actually talk about what I've experienced my whole life. it was also beautiful and freeing in a way, and I think many people can relate. So yeah.
And let's talk from the filmmaking standpoint. Behind the camera, again, it's like, as documentarians, or even in this situation, we are trying to tell a story, and we're trying to tell a bigger picture, and sometimes that is not exactly what our subjects want, or what have you, and so we have to take care of them, but we also, our first loyalty is to telling the story.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I'm also a dancer and a choreographer, and so I, have that part of me that wants things to be done a certain way, but I also have the coaching part of me, and the part of me that really cares that people see what's actually going on, and that although at times we may seem perfect as dancers and all put together, there's something very painful that's going on inside, and that needs to be honored and seen so that people can feel less alone. And so I wanted the imperfection. I wanted to show all sides. And of course there are shots and there are moments in the dancing that are just flawless and stunning. And then, there is a rawness to a lot of it that, yes, Haley's like, can we go again? And I'm like, no, we're doing a documentary, So I wanted all of it. And I think that a lot of times we're asked to present a very small piece of it. And I think the all of it is what makes it a documentary and makes it relatable to people. So that's what I cared about.
All right, now one more question, Sandra.
Yeah.
And that's this. When you do a documentary like what you're doing, and while it's not exactly a call to action per se, there still is an aspect where you kind of become the expert of that topic. When you're doing Q&As, everyone goes, well, you know everything now, right? So what? And I always like to ask filmmakers in that case, do you embrace that, or you go, I just wanted to make the damn movie. I didn't necessarily want to, write a book. How are you about that?
Yeah, good question. I think the key is that this project could not have been completed with me alone, right? I've never been in prison, never been stripped-first, which is the subject of the film. So really I rely on my co-director Corey, who usually actually calls in for Q&As and screenings, to provide sort of the extra context right around the topic. The topic is extremely heavy, the film is very intense. So yeah, that can kind of weigh on you over time for sure. But in terms of being I make sure, I'm very careful not to paint myself as an expert on strip frisks. I know my film, I know what the film is, does and asks and questions, but I really rely on Corey to be a presence in those conversations, because I wouldn't want to represent myself as someone who's the expert.
Again, and the other commonality between these projects is that they really both serve as wonderful leaping off points for those discussions, whether it be ENNEAGRAM, whether it be your film. Again, I was taken by both of them. I think both films should have a really healthy film festival tour, and so I hope you guys are going to be up to talking about these damn things a lot, because
Yeah.
we're actually going to be it. Congratulations again, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.